Good morning, guys. Bit of exuberance in stocks, whilst the smarter money of bonds and, by definition, I guess currencies are the same as bonds because they're super sensitive to where interest rates are heading. Did nothing. Calm before the storm, perhaps. Waiting to see what GDP figures are going to do, and the more important number of inflation, which this PCE PI is what the Fed watches the most when they're monitoring the inflation numbers. So that's tomorrow night, but tonight we'll get the GDP. So everything's sort of stocks, let's start with bonds, sideways, not doing much at all, and therefore dollar index also very much pretty quiet. Aussie dollar failed off 67 again, even though we had inflation lower, which I guess you could consider that we're not going to be raising interest rates, so that's a negative for the Aussie dollar. But yeah, it failed again at 67, proving tough to get through it. Euro dollar unchanged, stuck around that 108.40. Pound a little weaker, as it's still on track to cross that range, and dollar yen up a little, well, up significantly when you look at it like that, but that's the selling in the yen as safe haven starts to unwind. As you look at VIX, and that's unwinding, and stocks over exuberance, but as I mentioned, the bonds, which is the smarter money, not going anywhere. You look at the safe haven of Bitcoin, that's not unwinding, obviously, that's still going well, and gold, bit of an inside day, pretty much trading sideways, as it bit of a trend there, or a little wedge happening. Let's see where that winds up. So that's about it, really. Pretty quiet as the market sort of waits for the next news event, which is later tonight, as I mentioned, with the GDP figures from the US. And here we can see the Aussie inflation coming off the peak. So that's, have we seen the most of it? Well, listen to the media here in Australia and I'd say, yeah, that there's nothing more. But I'd say that we may not, and inflation takes a lot longer to wear out or come off than it does to increase. So in terms of trading a currency, still happy to sell Aussie at 67. I think that's proven pretty hard for it to get through. The more it tries to do it and fail, then the more likely it's going to head lower. That said, the buyers are coming in at a higher point each time, which would suggest that it might pop through. For that to happen, you need a significantly weaker US dollar, and for a weaker US dollar to happen, you need everything to be rosy. No recession ahead. Stocks barreling to new highs, safe havens coming off, and interest rates coming off. I just don't see that happening in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. GDP and inflation numbers this week might change that picture, in my opinion, of that, but I don't see that happening. The euro dollar, short-term buyer, long-term seller. So, just trying to find the technical window to make that fit. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow.